Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Middle-Aged Mutants Show Live. We're broadcasting to you telepathically from the canteen located inside the Shield helicarrier. As with all telepathy, emotional transference is unavoidable, so if at any time you feel disappointed / annoyed, it's because we just found out they only sell Pepsi products. Bummer.
Hey, I like Pepsi. So
you guys will be okay with that, but I hate Mountain Dew. Anyways, my name is Ty. I'll be your host for this evening.
Hey.
Whoa, too far.
On the eve
And as
of
always,
Bodz's birthday.
I know. I should have brought him a what is it called? The Baja Blast.
The Baja Blast.
Yes. Celebrating
totally
his
fouled
20th
up.
anniversary, by the way.
There you go. 20th? Man,
Yeah.
he's so young. How's he middle aged now?
Baja Blast.
Oh, the 20th anniversary of Baja Blast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. As always, I'm joined by the Brotherhood of mostly benevolent mutants, Bodz and OH. Gentlemen, please say hello to our mutant brethren out there.
Hello, mutant brethren out there.
Hello, mutant brethren, and I am assuming brethren in the male sense.
I'm pretty sure like 65% of our audience, or wait, 99% of our audience is
no
male.
Sisterin, is that the proper term? Is that
Sisterin?
Sisterin?
Brethren and
Slytherin.
sisterin.
I think
It almost
that's what
sounds like, I was going to say, it sounds like a Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'd have to ask. The other day, I had somebody, well, not the other day, it was like actually a couple of years ago. Somebody finally told me what, you know how you have the misogynist? Well, now you have the misandrist, so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So the more you know, the more you know.
Well, we
know.
are broadcasting, streaming live on a very eventful night. Not only the eve of Bodz's birthday, but a very infamous list has been revealed.
Yeah. And Bodz is so surprising that Bodz was on it. I never expected that from Bodz.
I don't even know what list you're talking about.
The list is the invitees to Bodz's big birthday bash. It is a surprise. So
Bodz surprise party.
Surprise party for
surprise. You've committed a felony.
Guess that's how surprises work.
Yep, that's how surprises work.
So
get put right into handcuffs.
If you could just get on that private jet for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, make sure to sign the little ledger before you get in. Here is your personal flight attendant. She looks a little young. Well,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's real quick. This is I guess it's a middle-aged type of gripe, and where I saw this thing online where speaking of wealthy celebrities on private jets, Taylor Swift was on globetrotting on her private jet with her football player boyfriend, and someone commented, "And here I am drinking from a soggy straw." There's just no justice.
No, God, yeah, you take
in the world.
I don't know what's worse, being Taylor Swift's boyfriend or the soggy straw. I think I might take the soggy straw. I don't know. Or was he? Never mind. I don't want to go there. Anyways, let us go right into the first topic of this evening. We're speaking about the Marvel leak. You guys, I'm not going to show it on this channel. However, we do have a graphic for this. Coming to us from the Fandom Pulse, Marvel's got a leak, and I don't know who it is, but they've got a hand camera video of the first fight, or I guess one of the fights between Marvel's Echo and Daredevil.
It was a hand camera? I thought it was just like a continuous shot.
I only saw a still frame.
No, what I mean is like somebody was taking a video of a TV with like a cell phone or a hand camera.
Oh, okay.
So we could see this. It wasn't like they leaked the actual
digital
video.
I'm suspicious of any type of leak. I'm always a little suspicious that it's on purpose to gauge the reaction, things like that.
I mean, it worked for Deadpool, so
yeah.
Well, you're right, because it does smack of like the whole. Whenever they didn't leak it. I mean, they said to everybody, "Hey guys, by the way, we know She-Hulk is not going to be as well received as we think. Hey, Daredevil's going to be on there, guys. Come and check it out." That kind of desperation, because this fight scene does not look good. I mean, it's not anywhere close to that hallway scene that we all love, where Daredevil beats the piss out of everybody.
To be fair, there's many other great fight scenes in the Daredevil series and seasons. But that is like, if you're gonna watch one, I mean, that is the one, right? But
yeah. Well, that's the first one we ever saw. Remember?
yeah,
Because that's like the first like super badass one. Because we don't see the Punishers until season 2, and this was when he's still in the black outfit and he's just kicking the shit out of everybody.
Yeah,
that was the first time we saw it. And this fight scene does not come anywhere. I don't even know if that was Charlie. I don't remember the guy's last name. I don't know if that was the actual Charlie Cox. I don't know if that was the actual actor. It did not look like it to me.
Well, I was going to say Charlie Day, and
that's what I was going to say too. I had a step.
That would be
that's
amazing.
why the scene's not as.
I would love to see him as Daredevil now.
I know he'd be all, "I'm the Night Man." Oh.
So Echo has sort of like a weird, I don't know, promotion to it, because it's part of some type of Marvel spotlight or something like that.
Yeah, it's like the stuff that's like not in continuity apparently, because it's so bad they don't want to like. They don't want it to taint the rest of the MCU continuity.
Wow. Which is either them saying like, "Put the kids to bed. This is Disney after dark," or it's just them saying, "This one's not going to be part of the main thing," which honestly isn't a bad thing, but it also kind of makes it seem like you don't have to watch it.
Yeah,
you know,
they could have just they could have made it like Marvel Knights or something like that.
That would have been
cool.
better branding than this.
Yeah,
because this is not it, dude.
Because what is Marvel's spotlight? I feel that's still part of the MCU. When
it's almost like a Miramax type thing, you know, like they're like, oh, these are the movies that got greenlit, and they're just too dark. You know, it's just I don't know what it is.
Well, I think it's sort of like how the DC movies now will have like the Elseworlds. Like, I guess the Batman sequel will be. It's its own thing. I'm like, I think we kind of get it, but you know, just to, you know, I think that's also something that's sort of a turnoff for a lot of viewers, is being told what universe it is or isn't in. And I think a lot of people have stopped caring about that. And so it'll be interesting to see if this promotional technique or whatever will work for them.
They need something, because the more I see about this thing, the more I get turned off by it.
Well, it's Echo. Who is out there saying?
Oh God, Echo. Echo was in the comic book. She was in a comic book called, I believe it's. Let me think. I don't want to lie to you guys about this. It was part of the Marvel Knights series, and I believe it was called Parts of a Whole. She was created by David Mack and Joe Quesada. You know, and she is a deaf. She's like attached to Wilson Fisk via a lie. Like her father owed, I guess, Fisk money or something like that. If I remember, it's been a while since I read this. And her father gets killed by Fisk, and he says, "Oh, I'm dying, before I completely pass on, you have to take care of my daughter. She's deaf and Indian, and she's very talented at dancing or something." And Wilson takes her in, and he trains her to be kind of like a badass. And she is deaf, and she's mute. She's not mute. I guess she just. This actress right here, she I don't think she speaks, and she is deaf. And so I was like, wow, we had to finally do it. We had to get like an actual deaf girl to play this character, which I couldn't give a thundering fuck about. But she's also like, I don't know if she's I think she's Choctaw Indian, which the character was Indian. I don't believe they said what tribe that she was a part of.
Yeah. Well, she never said.
She does talk in the comics. She does not talk in the show. But her power is like, I was like, God, Quesada cannot create anything that's like not, you know, goofy. Her power is she is basically Taskmaster, but not as cool. She can watch you and mimic everything you do almost perfectly. That's what makes her like an incredible, like, she's an interpretive dancer in the comic. You just can't make this shit up.
There's Echo, there's Taskmaster. I think even Agent X back in the day did something similar to that, if I'm not mistaken. That's just a thing that you can do in the Marvel universe, I guess.
Yeah, just complete copy.
Yeah, I'm just really good at copying at you.
So, was she was introduced in the Hawkeye miniseries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched
so.
And I like Hawkeye, so I'm trying to remember if she just did sign language or what. It's been a minute.
Well, I've seen her on if I can bring her up here. Let me look right quick. Talk amongst yourselves for a second, boys.
Yeah, I remember her being in there in Kingpin, and it was like it was a Christmas series, so it was like a couple Christmases ago. So forgive me.
And
for
it was the
not remembering, but
it was one of the many. It's called Hawkeye, but it's really about Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, but you know what? I kind of liked Kate Bishop, so I didn't really. That was
out
one
of
the
all
ones
of them.
I didn't.
She's like she's like
like
the one that's like the better one.
Yeah.
So Echo's like, okay, Daredevil's blind, she's deaf and or mute or whatever. I'm like, all right, I get it, but it kind of feels like, and I'm fairly certain she would have came after, but she kind of feels like a Cassandra Cain sort of.
I was thinking the same thing with her being mute, not being able to talk, and being a good assassin. I had the same.
Well, yeah. In here, I think they just go with it. Like, I think the actress herself is deaf. Here, I have let's share this tab. Let's just go ahead and play this. Let's do full screen. Let's play this, and you can watch the cringiness that is this shit.
Represent your people. That means Chakta Tushka.
I don't know what's in her hand there. I wonder, because I think she also is missing a part of her leg.
Yeah, she did have a prosthetic leg also.
Okay, that it's just fucking so stupid.
I can realize.
Look at how wide this woman's face is too. It's like a frying pan. She has the biggest bulbous head I've ever seen. At least her eyes are closer together than most Disney characters.
Yeah, that's true.
So she does. She is signing.
Part of the process since the very beginning.
So she's signing about how they're opening a new casino.
This will be.
No. Choctaw is in Oklahoma, right?
I believe so. I see the billboards for it all the time from wherever we are located in the United States.
So much of what we did, buildings, set dressing, and costumes, everyone is really dedicated.
I just wonder how much of this is going to take place on the reservation here now that they're showing all this shit.
So it's Reservation Dogs, but with the superhero twist.
Not as good, apparently.
Or maybe what's that newer series of Lou Diamond Phillips? Dark Skies, Darker something.
Dark Winds.
Dark Winds. Yeah. Throw Lou Diamond Phillips in there, and I might give it a chance.
Yeah, no. Yeah, yeah. There you go.
So I learned something neat about Lou Diamond Phillips the other day, and a bunch of other actors. We were showing. I guess this is a dad bod moment.
Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and pause that right quick. Here we go.
Greetings, super dumbasses.
So
it's actually the audience just like, oh no, that's the first time they've actually heard the audio before they can even hear the audio.
So I did something that, like, we were bored. We watched it, the new Ninja Turtle movie, and it wasn't as horrible as
I'm sorry.
thought. You made it so much worse than it was that, like, I had no expectations for it. So
that was such shit. Oh, such shit.
So I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to, but I had to show Jocelyn, my daughter, the old school one, and so we watched the old school one. That movie could do no wrong. First Ninja Turtle movie. We're watching it, and I'm a big fan of Casey Jones, who literally just murders Shredder at the end of the movie, just straight up murders over the trash compactor. But I was reading all these little fun facts about the movie and stuff as it's going on, and apparently Lou Diamond Phillips was actually considered for Casey Jones.
Ew, yuck.
And here's other people. Also, Keanu Reeves was considered.
Okay.
And who was the other one? Johnny Depp was considered. Literally everybody from, like, Young Guns was considered, because also Kiefer and Emilio was considered. So it was kind of like we're just grabbing someone from the Young Guns movie. But you know what? I was thinking, I was like, Keanu and maybe Johnny Depp would have been okay, but Keanu Reeves probably been really cool at it.
I think Johnny Depp was too soft. to play that character. I could see Keanu
you really
doing
needed
it,
someone violent for that, you know.
You know,
but it was too. It would be too close to the time that he played Bill, so it'd be like,
whoa, well, I don't know.
Whoa.
It still may
Whatever.
fit because like he's hanging out cowabunga dudes, but
Cowabunga, dudes, yeah.
he should be Michelangelo if anybody, right? But I think the
yeah.
guy who did play Casey was so good.
he
I
was
don't know his actual name. I think
Elias Cotillas.
the only other thing I've seen him in was the U.S. version of Let the Right One In. I think it was just it was called.
Oh
Let Me In.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But I really like that guy's portrayal because he had such a streetwise attitude
Mhm.
about him, and I just remember
And he sounded really New York, you know.
he
sounded
really
like
had
you.
like the accent, which was
because I don't think Keanu would have
exaggerated
done a
and
good
fit.
job with that.
Yeah, no, he
And-
has a good he perfect. You know, the class is Pain 101. Your instructor Casey Jones. He had the-
It was
He had
so
the good accent.
believable in such a weird concept. You know what I mean? It was like,
Mm-hmm.
tell me you didn't, and he fit with Raph. You know, it's like, tell me you didn't pay money for that. You know, it's like,
Yeah, Jose
Yeah.
Canseco, Pat. And if I may conclude my dad thought, you know, all the way back to
You may.
full circle back to what we were talking about, so it doesn't get into some kind of weird tangent. But then in the the trivia, they talked about how, as you know, we know that like Ninja Turtles their origin was loosely based on Daredevil.
right.
Where they always said, you know, without saying that the ooze came from the same canister that hit Matt
Daredevil.
Murdock in the head, gave him his
Yeah.
powers
Yeah.
and stuff. So, just fun facts and things I got to share with my daughter. And then
So,
go,
did you
hey,
explain to her that, you know, Stick and Splinter were sort of
yeah, stick and splinter, hand and foot. You know, it was
Yeah.
all they had all
No,
kinds
now
of.
here's the real question. Okay, here's the real question. Just show your daughter's taste level here. Which did she like better?
Well, I'll put it this way. After that, she watched Ninja Turtles 2 and 3.
wow.
Oh, good girl.
So
Good
she
girl.
went through all of them and stuff. I don't know. It's just like
I just feel bad for her for watching 3. It's
you
like
know what?
watching
Hey.
RoboCop 3. It's just as
Yeah.
bad. It's like, oh god.
She's a big fan of
she liked it
sexy
because
Kevin Nash.
it was more fun, you know, and stuff like that. But reading why things happen, like Casey Jones was not put in the second one because he was deemed too violent, and then they bring it back
Really?
to the third. Yeah, that's why
Oh
they got
yeah.
they brought in Keanu, and that movie went to PG instead of PG-13 because they said the
Yeah.
first movie
Ernie
was too
Reyes
violent.
Jr.
which
Yeah,
is actually what made it so fun.
what
I
was it?
remember
Kino was his name, I think.
Yeah, he played
we've been
Kino.
over this.
Yeah,
Kino,
you know, he
yeah.
played like Michelangelo in the first movie.
Yeah.
He was the guy in the
actually
suit.
them. Yeah.
So back in the day, this is good memories here of being middle-aged. When we lived up north and kind of in a sort of a rural area, the local theater was kind of far, so we didn't go to the movies a lot. And so the big two movies I remember at that time that we went to was, of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman.
hmm
So fond memories there. It was a special treat to go to the theater because there wasn't exactly around the corner. And
Yeah.
I remember just kind of being blown away by the turtles because it wasn't like the cartoon come to life or anything like that. But I remember even as a kid, sort of recognizing that this is a little more serious than I expected. By today's standards, as an adult, of course, it's kind of silly. But as a kid, you're
Mhm.
like, this is kind of dark and violent. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
they
mean, it
did
was just so straight out of the comic. I mean,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah, they-
really, when you go back and look, it's one of the first true adaptations.
Yeah.
They were pulling shit. Like if you read the comic, I mean, it is very close.
Yeah. They took
their
straight
scenes is-
storylines from there.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the movie. So I'd give them props for that. I'll say Blade revitalized it, but Ninja Turtles defined it because if you didn't know and you read now, you'll go, holy shit, that's almost like a beat for beat tale right
Yeah.
there. So
And like many things, the sequel still fun, but you can't ever
Yeah, not as
recreate the
good.
magic that
although
got you there in the
although
first place.
recently Trump had Vanilla Ice at Mar-a-Lago and he was rapping with the Ninja Turtle on stage. So
Really?
Wow.
we got
Go
that.
Ninja, go Ninja, go.
I don't know if he was singing that song, but I was like, oh wow, that's fucking awesome. So we got that out of it. But as for the topic at hand, Echo, I don't have high hopes for this. I really think it's just going to be like She-Hulk, where they're just bringing in Daredevil to go ahead and just kind of be like, come on, please watch it, because we don't know what
Yeah.
she was always
just-
a part of the Daredevil series, because she starts off as a character in his book. So I get that, but I just don't see this doing all that well, because it seems with all the representation crap in this, I see it being more about like, oh, she's Indian and blah blah, than being about like the comic book. So
It's going to be, and this being the Middle-Aged Mutant show, or want to go on old man yelling at cloud type of rants. And I will say, when it comes to that, on Echo and Daredevil, I'm assuming Daredevil is just there to get beat up and saved by Echo, which is
well,
by itself shouldn't be a problem, but it's annoying all the same.
yeah. I know that's what they want, but so
And
we'll see. I don't know
honestly,
if
it's just difficult to get into a lot of things, and I don't want to jump too far ahead to The Witcher, but I was thinking about this today, about how I enjoyed the episode that Bodz showed me, and that like enough to, watch the rest of it eventually whenever I have time, right? But knowing
Mhm.
where that show goes, it makes it just like sadly not a priority. Like knowing
Yeah.
what the later
yeah.
seasons will be like, it makes it tough.
Yeah. It's like knowing the Titanic sinks and you're oh well shit.
Kind
I'm
of
not-
like
should I invest in this?
it's
Did I
kind of
invest
like
this? Exactly.
my wife once asked, should I watch Game of Thrones? I'm like, I can't in good conscience say yes, because I just know where it ends up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just can't do it. Instead, we're gonna watch The Masked Singer. We're gonna invest our time wisely.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Okay, so next up, little old House of Mouse. Well, more House of Mouse actually. And now that I think about it, Mickey Mouse or Steamboat Willie enters the public domain, and it's just like whenever Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain. It's just like, oh, how can we turn this into a horror game or
Yeah,
I know. It's like
a horror
immediately-
movie?
All to the
Or
Always a horror.
races with-
well, that makes sense. Horror movies are the cheapest thing to make, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. Horror games are easier to make, but it just seems like that's like the first place everything goes. The first thing we saw, I guess it was like minutes after the actual thing went live, was Mickey's Mousetrap. This is there was a teaser for the horror comedy film, a film starring Mickey Mouse as the killer, was released the same day that 1928's Disney went public available. It's Alex's 21st birthday, and he's stuck at an amusement arcade on a late shift. Oh, so it's like Five Nights at Freddy's apparently. The movie synopsis:
Yeah.
Mousetrap goes, but a masked killer, a killer dressed like Mickey Mouse, decides to play a game of his own. God, this is just terrible. So they're basically making Five Nights at Freddy. So
With Mickey Mouse.
he's at a Chuck E.
Just-
Cheese like establishment. That's terrible.
So
This is even.
I
Oh,
guess in
God.
the universe, in the movie, Disney isn't what Disney is in reality. I don't know if it can be, or maybe I don't know, but it is very similar to the Blood and Honey movie with Winnie the Pooh. It's like
Mhm,
it says a lot about society. Like the first thing you want to do is make a slasher film
Yeah.
mhm.
or
You know-
Triple X parody.
Well, you know what else went to public domain also? Peter Pan.
That's right.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
God. Now there's going to be a bunch of pedo movies.
Yeah. Do you know
Peter
what?
Pan.
You remember when Hook came out? And we were young when that came out and stuff, but like
Yeah, Hook was
that
awesome.
was a cool premise. He came back and
Mhm.
Rufio and stuff.
Rufio.
If-
Rufio.
Now we just scream Roofy.
Roofy. We just scream Roofy. But like you could make probably something cool.
Hey,
I don't
wait a
know. It
second.
just feels like
Wasn't
there could be
Steven-
cool Peter Pan stuff.
Wasn't Steven Spielberg one of the people over at
Mhm.
Green Island? Makes a
Yeah,
lot of
he
sense
was.
now. He named him Rufio. It's all
All
coming
coming
in.
together.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't think about that till just now. Ooh, creepy. The other thing they're making is something called Infestation Origins. I think it's actually changed to Infestation 88. It's made by a company called Nightmare Forge Games. You're an exterminator, and you are tasked with purging a twisted version of the classic characters and urban legends. Indeed, Mickey Mouse is among those figures. Later this year, the game will be available in early access on Steam. So that means it's going to be pretty much shit when it comes out. You're playing a kind of like, I guess, a 4-on-4 team here. That's let's watch the trailer and see what we got to work with. Hold on, sorry, I have to hit share. Turn this down. Oh my god, very much like 5.
Thought it was just rodents.
Good grief.
All right, this is like Five Nights at Freddy already.
Yeah,
Which is
Everywhere.
just so
Tried to take care of it himself.
has an enduring popularity.
Escalated.
no joke.
Exterminators are all
Survive.
right.
Uh-oh. He's like, oh, I'm gonna kick your I'm gonna rip your throat out. Oh god. So you gotta like kill him with bug spray? Oh shit. That guy got messed up. It's 1988.
And then obviously the poo, blood, and honey pops up on there to watch.
Yeah, no jokes. In the same vein. Yeah, so what did it say earlier? It said it's a it says an episodic 4-to-4 player cooperative survival horror game set in 1988. I wonder why is sitting in 19. I think it's 60 years from the time that Mickey showed up on the scene, so I don't know if there's some significance there. I guess they mean it's 1988 hard. They always do that now. They have like 1988 difficulty on games now, where it's like, yeah, like crazily scary hard, you know?
Is that like
Maybe that's
because
why.
like old Nintendo games are just hard?
Some of them are just like impossible to
Yeah, it's
play.
like, I can't make this Ninja Turtle jump. There's no way I can do this.
It was such a gamut.
But the water level, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I can't disarm all these bombs in that amount of time.
Oh yes, the Turtles one. Oh god, yes, that was that dude.
Never beat
I have that.
Never beat.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, now I have it's called the Konami Cowabunga collection or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's on a PC, so it's like every game they ever made, and now I think you can. I don't know if you can do this, but I think you can enter cheat codes and stuff. So I'm hoping one day to see what happens at the end of that game.
Yeah,
It was so
never saw it.
epically hard that game was.
Yeah,
but I have seen people speedrun it online and beat it, and I'm like, oh god, why?
Wow,
ow,
that's crazy.
I remember actually, we were at the airport waiting for relatives to come in, and they had an arcade there, and my dad gave me enough quarters to beat that Ninja Turtle 2 game. Remember the arcade one?
Oh, you mean just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the arcade game?
Yeah. That was fun. I got to beat that one, and I was like, wow, I never beat the actual Nintendo one.
It's all $200 in quarters later.
Didn't seem like it, but maybe.
we can't make our flight now, son, because all the
because you were just too close to the end there. I had to let you do it. There's another game coming out by a Polish developer. Bodz, do you have anything to do with this?
CD Projekt Red is making.
Apparently, it's called Fumi Games, and I saw this way before. This was out like last month, so I don't know where they're getting. Because is this going to be a late? Well, no, I guess I don't know. Anyways, this is a first-person shooter, and I don't really think that it has much to do with Mickey Mouse. Here, I'll show you what it looks like.
So what year did Mickey Mouse come out?
1928.
Okay, so does that mean like Superman's going to be in public domain?
No, I think they fixed that whenever they had that legal fight with Siegel and Schuster or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
because
had some type of estate dispute. I think that comes up every every so often.
What about some of the other characters like the Shadow or Phantom
or Lex Luthor himself? In 1940.
Yeah,
I think that they keep trying. I think what they do is they're like flouting copyright law and trademark law right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they should be coming into public domain type thing, but if you know whose pockets to lace, you can like keep it from happening. This might have just been too high profile for Disney to actually
think
fight against.
what's interesting, I wish I knew the details off the top of my head, but even though it would never happen, I think it is technically possible for Superman to become a Marvel character if it's like allows you to in court, something doesn't go their way, some crazy set of circumstances happens. But I think some of these characters are just too well protected, and but it is insane to think about how
Yeah.
presumably
Well-
within our lifetime we will see the 100-year anniversary of some of these characters. Is really odd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing that I heard. Ethan Van Sciver talked about this a while back. There recently, Steve Ditko's estate came to an agreement with Marvel over Spider-Man and Doctor Strange for their rights, and he had said that whenever Miles Morales came out, that was a contingency against that sort of like copyright issue, because they needed the character that was so divergent, which I was like, well, he's almost exactly Spider-Man. He's just black or Afro-Latino or whatever they fucking want to call him these days. That they wanted to hedge against that. That way, if they lost the rights to Peter Parker's Spider-Man, that they could go, oh, well, we have Miles Morales. So
Miles Morales has been, since he came out, I don't know how many years ago now, he's been the replacement Spider-Man for a while. He's been the attempt to replace Spider-Man for a long time now. So that does not,
and it
surprise
doesn't
me.
work. It doesn't work.
No.
They're already saying that the next game for Insomniac, they said going forward that Miles Morales is going to be their Spider-Man, and I was like, well, that's the Spider-Man 2, I guess, is the last Spider-Man game that I'm buying, because I ain't playing Miles Morales' fucking game.
No,
That's the problem with like them doing stuff like that to like Spider-Man and Batman. It's like I don't hate Miles Morales, but I don't want to play as him all the time. And also
Yeah,
like
no.
Batman, it's like I want to play as Batman. I don't want to
Mhm.
play as like the his sidekicks, like the last game and stuff. I was
It's
like,
sort
I
of
just want to
like-
be Batman.
It's like it's cool to have the option, but
Yeah,
to
but
only be
don't
him?
make it so like you're forced to. You have no.
that's such a
Mhm.
turnoff. And
Yeah.
that
Well,
to
and
me
this is what
like,
happens when you got no creativity and you don't come up with new characters, and you're so reliant on characters that were created almost 80 something years ago. This kind of shit's going to happen to you. You're going to lose
Yeah.
copyright in this. Why don't you come up with new characters people actually like?
Yeah.
Well, this is what they do. They know their original ideas won't fly, and also original ideas already have an uphill battle as it is. So what they have to do is weasel their way in, sneak their way in to an existing IP, and then that's how they can do their self-insert BS and make the series a show that they really want to. And because they know if they actually pitch their real original idea, it would never get greenlit. But something funny about Miles Morales is this is ongoing like X Twitter thing, is people arguing that Miles Morales is Spider-Man, and yet most of the branding and the merchandise, they list him as Miles Morales. It's so funny.
Yeah. Well, they're
Yeah.
doing the same thing now with Miguel O'Hara. I just picked up a comic book today that was Spider-Man 2099, but it has a caveat. It says above it Miguel O'Hara. And I'm like, that wasn't the case back in what, 1994? I think is whenever
Yes.
Spider-Man 2099 came out. So I don't know if from going forward that's how they're gonna do these. They're like Miguel O'Hara, Peter Parker, Miles
So
Morales. I
what's-
don't know.
Do they think
What's
we
interesting-
just can't like put two and two together? Or
Yeah.
What's
yeah, that's not
funny
Peter.
is that back in the day, I remember, I remember reading the 2099 comics, and I think Spider-Man 2099 was the better, if not the best one of the bunch. He had the cool look and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember as a youngin, not giving two flying fish that his name was Miguel O'Hara, whatever. Like, it did not matter. I still thought he was cool, right?
Right.
And now it has to be branded all over him. And this is one of the times where Marvel could probably learn something from DC, because DC has like 1 million people called the Flash, there's a zillion Green Lanterns. There's character 1, character 2. They're all like the same
Yeah.
legacy character, and I'm like, this is really the same thing, except they make such a big stink about it.
Well,
just-
I mean, Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, H. Like when we were like, okay, like for instance, when we watched the Justice League cartoon when we were younger, I didn't know that was Wally West. I didn't care. I didn't care it wasn't Barry Allen. They didn't make a big deal about it. They just go, "This is the Flash." You know, they didn't have to. They didn't have to like.
One of the people called the Flash. There's
Yeah.
There's a couple of Adams. There's a couple. I mean, there's a bunch of people that do this. There's legacy characters, and yet at Marvel's like they kind of were doing that for a while. Then nowadays it's like, well, if we don't put the name on there, people will get confused and go on Twitter and
I can't tell from their costume at all. I can't tell from their
yeah.
I just can't tell at all. I'm colorblind. But anyways, let's go ahead and play this right quick so you can see this. It kind of reminds me of a game Cuphead. It's got the same art style.
Yeah.
But it's a shooter, and I mean it's pretty violent. But and also this part kind of reminds me of BioShock. I don't know if y'all ever played BioShock.
I played
know
BioShock.
enough about BioShock. Yes.
Yeah. This looks like test footage right here. This doesn't actually look like an actual stage right here. But yeah, this is the other gaming. I mean, this looks a little bit better than the other one we saw because that was just like straight up horror crap. This looks like something actually took a lot of effort. So
It looks, you're still essentially doing a version of something else, but it is the most creative one of these.
Now
things
I'm curious.
I've seen.
I'm curious how much of this. So okay, so they're protecting a lot of the actual Mickey Mouse IP that came later. You know, like the Mickey Mouse with the eyes and the pupils and all that.
Mhm.
That's still very much under copyright. So this stuff right here is gonna like I think people are gonna have to watch out because I don't think Steamboat Willie wore gloves and he had a certain amount of fingers and he
People
had
are gonna slip, and Disney.
Disney's waiting to see it. Well, first of all, I think Disney's probably going to be waiting to see if you're successful, and if so, they're going to pounce on your ass because they'll be like, well, I mean, technically he had 5 fingers and he had 4 fingers and he was wearing white gloves. Technically that's our Mickey Mouse, and they're going to go, give us some money or cease and desist. And we're going to take over the property, whatever. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm going to guess that right now Disney's got kind of like a fuck around and find out mentality about this. And you really need to be careful if you're doing this, probably need to talk to a lawyer and see exactly what's in the public domain before you do anything that has to do with Mickey Mouse.
And that to me makes me think like, is this worth the effort? I mean, I guess there's the novelty and people will, there will be an audience for it just for curiosity's sake. But I don't know, sometimes like for me, like I'm trying to put out my own like little things out there, right? And there's a bunch of like, oh, you better not do this or Amazon will strike you down and send Bodz to your doorstep. And like
true,
Bodz does kills people.
Yeah, and so it's like
for Amazon.
To me, being such a microscopic presence, I'm like, it seems like such a dumb thing to get blackballed over, and such a stupid thing to like. If you're even, I don't even know if you have to be big or small. I don't know if that matters to some of these.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna damage their brand, you're probably right. If you're gonna if you're doing something to actually damage their brand, they're probably gonna tell you, hey, cease and desist, scrub it from the internet, or we're gonna ruin your life.
Yeah. So
if you make money, it's probably even worse. They're probably gonna go, all right, don't take it down, but we're gonna actually like descend upon your cash and sue the shit out of you.
Yeah, it belongs to us now, and it's gonna be ruined. And if they even decide to absolve it or something, I don't know. But yeah, to me, just as like a small time creator of things, I'm just like, I get kind of paranoid on their behalf. I'm like, are you sure about that, guys? Is it really worth it?
Like secondhand like fear for these people.
Yeah,
I don't know. I say be very cautious is all I gotta say. And we'll see all this shit when it comes out. All right, let's move on to the next topic, guys. Let's see. Adam Driver is officially done with Star Wars, and I thought he was done when he was dead as Kylo Ren. But he talked on some podcasts recently, the Smartless podcast run by Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett, and he basically just said, "Yeah, they're talking about doing stuff with the Skywalker, like Rey stuff," but he says, "I'm done with the character. I'm out." So, I would say if that's a smart move on his part, because that is going to be a sinking ship.
Yeah, for a show called Smartless, he was very smart and intelligent for just being done, because he's very, it's very fitting. He, I guess, spoilers, I guess, but it's very fitting that he was playing the son of Harrison Ford's character, because much like Harrison Ford, he seems to be the only one out of this trilogy that'll go on to have like real mainstream success,
Yeah, because Daisy Ridley, I'm sorry, I haven't seen her in much. Have you guys?
Yeah, and
No, all I know is Adam Driver is constantly on Saturday Night Live, and he's hilarious. So like, he must be doing some movies.
I mean, he is one of those type of actors. Like, even though the sequel trilogy is what it is, his performance is still enjoyable. He's one of those people who, like, even if I don't like the rest of the movie, he's still good, and he has enough range where he can play just about any character, and it'll be, entertaining to watch. Like, even House of Gucci, as ridiculous as it was, I'm like, he was good. I mean, this guy can play
65 million. I can tell you was not.
Oh,
good.
65. Well,
or 65.
There may be some
that was
exceptions.
That was not good. Sorry, Adam. I like you as an actor. I you know what other movie I thought he was good in? The Duel by Ridley Scott. I thought he did a good job.
Oh,
I mean, he just played like he just seemed like a big perv. That was not it. But
so you watched the movie, because that looked like it was advertised as the Believe All Women movie. Was that?
yeah, that's probably the closest thing. Yeah, because like this a lady, she gets married to Matt Damon's character, and Matt Damon is friends with, I guess, the king, who's played by Affleck. Yeah, and then Adam Driver's character is like, "Hey, I want to get a little piece of that," and he shows up to her manor one day, and he leaves, and then the wife tells Matt Damon, he raped me, and he's like, is like upset. So he takes off to the king and says, "Hey, I want satisfaction. This guy raped my wife." And the king goes, "I don't think I believe this," or whatever. He's like, "Well, I want a duel." So I guess they grant him this duel, and Adam Driver and Matt Damon fight, and Adam loses his life in the battle. And the big thing was that if Matt Damon lost, his wife got killed along with him, because that would have meant she meant she was a liar, because like proving her innocence via combat was the whole name of the game. So she was the one putting her fucking life on the line. So people were like, was she lying or wasn't she lying? Because it was pretty big. It was pretty big stakes for her if her husband lost, and he damn near did lose. I don't know, like the real I don't know, like if you really was that close to losing, but yeah.
So this was based on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
loosely based.
Loosely.
That was, instead of duel, that was stool.
Oh,
Stool.
okay.
Oh, nice.
That was a different.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, where's the flipping? There you go.
But I think I saw a little bit of that Adam Driver interview where he was explaining that it made me feel like, kind of like Mike Cavill is one of these people. I'm like, I can tell the guy really tries. He really wants to make it work.
Yeah.
And yet there's too many surrounding factors that just have terrible ideas. And even though he's explaining the course of filming the movies of Kylo Ren, he's like, well, Rian Johnson came along and decided to do a bunch of changes, but I still wanted to keep this character thing in mind. And I'm like, I could tell he was like, the frustration, you know what I mean? Just like, but
anyways,
yeah,
I'm more power to this guy. It's a smart move. Now, Daisy Ridley, on the other hand, is apparently going back into the fray. So we're going to talk about that next.
Back into the Ray.
Back into the Ray. There you go. So I'm not completely clear. I think there's going to be a Ray Solo movie. And is it being called Jedi Order?
Oh, that'd
I'm
be
not.
amazing if it was actually Rey Solo. And she's like, I'm not Skywalker anymore. I'm Solo.
Yeah, no joke. That was the thing that was kind of like when I was reading this article, I was like, because they keep saying Rey Solo film, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
But it's
be
lowercase.
careful
It's
there.
lowercase. So yeah. But there it's apparently being directed by a lady named Charmine Obaid Chinoy. This is a stupid name. Anyways,
Common spelling.
every time I see this woman's name, I just get annoyed. I get annoyed at hyphenates. I'm sorry, I just do. So she went on to say that it's about time. I want to quote her. I'm very thrilled about the project because I think we're about to create something very special. And we're in 2024 now. And I think it's about time we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away. And I was sitting there, I read that and I go, are you Rip Van Winkle? Have you been asleep for the past 10 or 12 years? Have you not like realized who was in charge of this like trash?
Yeah, the Force has been female for a while.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What that to me is such a canned answer, rehearsed, fed to her because it sounded good 7 years ago. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll continue to say it, but I'm like, now you have to like, so what was Ahsoka?
Yeah.
What is
Mm-hmm.
Bo-Katan? What is Jyn Erso, Rey Skywalker? Even
I feel
Leia?
like she pitched that to Daisy Ridley, and Daisy Ridley was like, "Yeah, no, I was the star of the. Yeah, I need a job. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever your vision is."
No, I don't have to take off my clothes. Okay, I'll be in your movie again.
Yeah, and I'm somewhere
Because
Gina
that's
Carano's
about all
like,
she's good for now. I bet you.
somewhere Gina Carano's like, yeah, female heroes. I'm still here. No,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I
No
guess you
joke.
don't really think. I think you have a limit as many females, I guess. But that to me screams to me like, oh, so you don't really care. You haven't been watching. You're the person in charge of this, and you just immediately expose yourself as the fraud that you are. And it's like this is why people are turned off by female-centric things is because of this right here. Like it doesn't like if you presented a movie like just the woman happened to be the main character, like Aliens or something, it's like we would be fine. It's been proven it can work, except when you have like Ocean's 8 and Salt and whatever the heck else that they're
353 or whatever, 8 or 8.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of that numbered movie. It was so stupid.
Yeah, it's sort of like I think 227. No, that was a different thing, but
That was Jack A.
Yeah, Jack A.
And then she got her spinoff from Amen.
Amen.
Maybe
So
that's
it's
correct,
really
actually.
part of the Sherman Helmsley shared universe. I
Yeah.
think that's what that is. But somehow I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But
You know what this kind of reminded me of? Remember, I don't know how long ago it was. I want to say it's like only been like a year or so since is it whoever played the chick on is it Jennifer Lawrence?
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah.
She's like, it's really great to be the first female action hero, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Sigourney Weaver's
Are you
over here.
serious? Yeah.
Long
That's
Kiss
so
Goodnight with what's her name? She was the
Gina Davis.
yeah, Gina Davis.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was a successful movie. I'm just, but it did happen. Darn it.
Yeah, and Linda Hamilton's like,
Yeah.
I killed
Hello?
Terminator.
Hello?
So
Yeah. Hello?
Like,
I don't know.
what are you talking
so
about?
stupid. So stupid. This is
And
what
that
this
to
smacks
me-
of.
And that to me, I'm like, and so the more they say this, I'm thinking, do you secretly want to perpetuate inequality so you can continue to say this and have your gimmick in order to get yourself a job that you probably didn't really earn by merit? And so are you really just, because I'm like, if you had true equality, then it wouldn't matter. And then you wouldn't have to say that. I'm like, to me, I'm like, the longer you tell us that you're inferior, the more people will believe that. And I think it's become a category, a gimmick, a genre in and of itself. And I don't think it's going anywhere. And it's just kind of sad. Like 10 years from now, we'll have somebody saying, "It's about time we had a female action hero." I'm like,
No shit.
there has been like 50 in the past 7 years, but that's fine. You know, just continue.
But
doing what
what's
you do.
weird about all these old ones we mentioned is like it didn't feel forced. It didn't
No.
feel like
No,
we're
it felt
just doing this
natural,
to-
and you didn't
it-
care
they
that
made
she
it-
was a woman.
No, it organically happened, and it wasn't.
It's
They
just
didn't make
like-
a big to do about it. Ridley Scott wasn't
Even
like,
in-
you know what? I'm going to make the girl the best character in this movie. And
Yeah.
mark
Even
my
in,
words. No, it just was a movie. You didn't know who was
Abyss,
going to live.
you know,
She
it's not the
lived.
same.
You know. Yeah, it's just these characters survived, and like,
Well, it's
And
like how
technically-
everybody's all. Go ahead. Sorry.
Technically, in horror slasher films, the final girl. I mean, if you want to get technical, you know, a lot of women at the end or girls at the end of a horror movie technically survive, and so I'm like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is
yeah.
sort of an example of that.
Well, you
Fun,
know, and
like-
Jamie Lee Curtis and Halloween and stuff.
I mean, like,
So
Mhm.
do these women who like, I wonder what is their reaction when they hear this? I'm like, did you not see my really famous movie? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm sure it's just kind of like the side eye, like bitch. You know, I'm sure
yeah,
it's
probably.
very like, oh yeah, I think you're so hot. I
Yeah.
used to be hot too. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think
I just
this
think
is
when
just
when they
terrible.
do things like this is like basically just saying this is our Mary Sue character that can do no wrong.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
but
Oh,
they
yeah.
the old things they didn't do that. You were like, this character's in this situation. You don't know if this character's going to live. This character has flaws. You know,
Mhm.
I
all these
remember
these
when-
new characters don't. You know,
man, when you knew it was over for society when Jurassic World came out and people got mad that Ron Howard's daughter was running around in heels, and I'm like, wasn't her character supposed to be, you know, I'm the corporate person, I don't really know what I'm doing, and Chris Pratt was here to,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
and then
I
and like
kinda-
the next, and like the
Go
next
ahead.
2 movies, she's like, I can master dinosaurs by myself. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, she
I
did
kinda
survive
felt
a
the
movie.
first-
That's why.
I kind of felt like the first movie was like her Joan Wilder moment where she was like, "These are Italian hills," and so she just like she like commits to it. But then the next movie, it's like Chris Pratt comes in and he has to chop the damn things off because he's like, "Look, now they're practical," you know, that kind of thing. But it almost was
Oh,
it
yeah,
almost was like a deal too, where you know how you watch the first what is it, Mask of Zorro,
Mhm.
and the female character Catherine Zeta-Jones is just she knows how to like sword fight or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
not like a huge part of the story. But in the second one, oh my god, she's like a super badass. Same thing
That's
for
like
the Mummy.
Mummy. Yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
say.
same thing for
The
the Mummy.
Mummy. Yeah.
She's like,
It just
I'm
gets-
just a librarian. And the next one, she's like a fucking ninja. And it
Like
just
well, you know,
all of a sudden.
that's what happens when you survive a movie. You become a badass by the next one.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the
Which
natural progression of
There
of-
is a logic to that, but it really feels like, I don't know, like, isn't it more interesting to have a character with flaws and stuff, you know, where
or a consistent character, perhaps like a character
yeah,
like I'm this thing. I don't grow out of my you know, it's like an RPG character. If your guy's like
Yeah.
a thief with like a dagger and he's really good at like stealing shit and lock picking and stuff, is he going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the next movie? No, he's going to be the
No,
same character he
I-
was in the
you
next
know,
one.
speaking of that, I didn't watch the latest Dungeons and Dragons movie, but I have a feeling that
Oh,
Chris Pine was the goofball who was
Yes.
an idiot and probably nearly
he's a bard.
dies. And
He's a
I
bard.
have a feeling that what's her face from Lost and Fast and Furious, she
Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, she's just
I'm-
an angry lesbian.
I'm assuming that she could do no wrong and saved him.
Yeah, she was just a
ultimately,
badass. She was kind of like she was the man that he was supposed to be in that movie.
which is
And
like.
she, I
as
mean, I
a
haven't seen the
result,
whole
Chris-
thing.
As a result, Chris Pine is the more interesting character because he's like
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
and he's actually doing things. And meanwhile, you have Robot Woman who's like, "I am here to terminate," and not really
hmm
do much else.
It's like
you
I'm
know.
here to be Vasquez because we can't come up with a different character in like
I mean,
30
in
years.
Fast and the Furious, it makes sense. It's everyone's already kind of
Yeah.
over the top and crazy anyway, so it's
Mhm.
Here's the thing. Even with you know, not to be sexist, but male characters.
Well,
if they're
please,
perfect,
please be very
sexist.
sexist.
Okay, if the guy is perfect, it's a boring character. Like they had to give Superman a weakness. You know?
Yes.
They had to give him kryptonite. So that's why.
Yes, look
things
at Jack
like that
Burton is a
work.
slight coward. Jack Burton
Love
is like
it.
a slight coward, and I
Slight
love him for
coward,
that.
shoots
Ash is
the-
a slight coward, and I love him
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah,
And he's kind of
they
crazy.
have-
too.
they
So let me
have
ask you
their
this.
flaws.
You were more familiar with the John Wick movies. Now, those movies are supposed to be kind of over the top.
Yeah.
Does John Wick, is it sort of the point? It's supposed to be just a super fun movie where you just see him kill everything, or is it where you're like, I don't know, John Wick kind of effed up this
Oh,
one
he gets.
time.
Oh, for sure, he gets hurt. He gets hurt a lot in them. Like you're like, oh well, that's
He is a little. He is a little like. Yeah, he is a little bit like it's because what Keanu probably weighs right now. I think Keanu's a pretty tall guy, right?
Yeah, probably.
He's got to weigh like 160 max, maybe 170, and he just like he does take on some dudes that are really big, and I would say he has a difficulty with it. It's not like an immediate like I just beat your ass. There is he has to work hard sometimes, and you could tell as an actor, an older actor now. Keanu's like, oh fuck me, I'm like sore and tired, and this is just and the battle scenes are like one continuous. Sometimes it felt like remember when he went up the stairs in like the last movie or whatever. It seemed like that was forever. I can't imagine
bad for him.
Being at his age and doing all that. I would be so tired and sore. I would be held together by Bengay and prayers, dude.
You know what's funny? Speaking of just being easily winded as you get older, I've come up with a something that John Wick may want to use in the next movie is a good way to cover up the fact that you got easily winded climbing up a short flight of stairs or just doing anything. How to pretend that you aren't dying after completing the most simple physical task is get your phone out and pretend you just heard shocking news. What? The cat did what?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I'm sorry, y'all. I just need to take a breath. Even though I just walked.
Everybody's asking if you're okay. Are you okay, sir? I am.
Walked up a short ramp. I'm sorry.
Oh my god!
They're making another
awesome.
Ray Skywalker movie. Oh my god! I need to sit down.
That is awesome.
And
holy crap! All right, well, let's move on to the next topic. Okay. All right. So here we go. Okay, rumors from the House of Mouse. Okay, so Steven Yeun is out as
hopefully that's true.
Hopefully as Sentry. But the thing is, he never was in. They're saying that it was never confirmed that he was in. So the fact that he's out, like you're like, it's kind of like it was a rumor of a rumor, but that turned out to be bullshit, kind of thing.
So it was a PR firm, his agent, his publicist, something floating.
Well, no. The thing that really clinched it for like people thinking that he was actually doing this was whenever he was, I guess, somebody was interviewing Robert Kirkman, and since they're such good buddies, because he's doing, he's doing Invincible and The Walking Dead, I guess he had let it slip to Kirkman that he was being asked to play Sentry, and so they, Kirkman was the one actually that spilled the beans. So, I don't know. I really hope this is true because this is one of the biggest miscasts. They'd already, like, to be honest, they've already fucked the Thunderbolts up a little bit. None of the original characters are in there.
Like,
and then they have
Citizen V.
Yeah, where's Citizen V? Where's Techno? Where's I think her name was like Songbird and Mach
Songbird, yeah.
Songbird and Mach 1 and at Atlas. Yeah. None of those characters are in it. So I'm just like, well, that I know because they have not confirmed that Citizen V is not in it because we know that Baron Zemo did get introduced in the Marvel the MCU, but they haven't said anything about him playing Citizen V.
Yeah, that'd be a big missed opportunity if they don't.
But they also, where they fucked up too, this is just my personal thinkings here. They cast Ghost. Ghost was a man, now it's a woman. She was in the Ant-Man 2 movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then Taskmaster has been gender swapped as well. And I'm like, for the love of God, if you now race swap Steven Yeun, it's like a third of the cast is race swapped or gender swapped.
Yeah, it's It's just well, I'm not like I know I claim to be a Thunderbolts expert, but I'm not. I know there was lineup changes as the series went on, and there's been some weird phases of the Thunderbolts, but I don't remember any of the lineups resembling the leftovers from the MCU.
Well, there was one where Bucky did lead the Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Like
there was one
now,
of
and now
those.
he is the leader as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, the time to have done the Thunderbolts would have been after the snap. That's when you should have done it, because
Yeah.
in the comics, what happened was the God, what was it? It was an X-Men event. I can't remember the name of it. No, it wasn't House of M. It was the one where it's like a soul. It's the one where, like, I think it was Xavier got turned into this big juggernaut-like character. I can't remember what it. Onslaught. That's what it was called. I think after Onslaught, most of the Avengers died in Onslaught, right? So
I don't remember.
I'm like they did. But like, I think it was Thor, Captain America, some of the Fantastic Four. A lot of heroes died in Onslaught, and so in the aftermath, there was like no heroes. So these villains turned hero, and it was Citizen V, Techno, Songbird, not Ghost at that time. I think it was Mach 1, and then Atlas. That were all the characters that they came back and masqueraded, quote unquote, as heroes. And so they could have done that after the snap. They could have said, well, and probably, you know what? You never know. That could have been the case. But they did get rid of Bucky at that time too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was one of the guys that left in the snap. But had they said that, I would have been like, okay, you don't have the Onslaught thing because you don't own the X-Men rights or anything right now. That's perfectly fine. But this is a perfectly good way to do it as well. But they're not doing that. They're just like, it's a Thunderbolts. And I don't know what the story is. It could be something similar, but that's how the Thunderbolts are supposed to come together.
It really does feel like here's the leftover people, we just have lying around. We have Kurt Russell's son around as U.S. agent, so sure, I guess. And U.S. agent, for all I know, could have been a Thunderbolt member at one time. I don't know.
He was.
Seems like it, but I don't know if he actually was.
I think it was one of the way later iterations, because
wasn't there an incarnation where like Punisher was on? He wore like a red skull on his chest.
That's the next one. Right now in the omnibuses, we're on the 4th omnibus, and it's called Thunderbolts Uncaged. And as far as I know, that's I haven't picked it up yet. I'm going to get it soon. That's most of the original Thunderbolts that are still in there. There's probably a couple of additions that I'm not thinking of right now. But after that, then you get the Thunderbolt, the group of Red Hulk and Punisher, and I believe that.
So Thunderbolt Thaddeus Ross, he was the guy in making the Thunderbolts or something. This is a lot of
not initially. I don't. Not initially.
Asking Ty about the Thunderbolts hour. So I don't remember.
Not initially. As far as I remember, it was just Baron Zemo that like came up with the group. He took characters like Fixer and I think Beetle, and God, I can't remember all their bad guy names. I think one of them was, oh God, don't ask me that. I remember more of the actual Thunderbolt names than I actually remember the bad guy names. But
how soon was it revealed that they were like villains? I want to say
like right the fuck away. It was like the end of the first issue. It's like, yeah, they're like, hey, because they go back to their like lair and they're like, okay, team, let's talk about it, blah blah blah. And then Baron Zemo, or sorry, Citizen V heads off into his room for a second, and then steps out, and he's wearing the Baron Zemo mask. And
so I gotta change mask for this. Hold on.
Yeah.
And then he turns and he looks at the team, and like then it shows like their Thunderbolt face, and then who they were as a bad guy, and you're like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. So it's told to you like at the very end of the first issue. If you were like new to it and you didn't spoil yourself, you wouldn't know till the end of the first issue.
I remember you were like, actually, we were in junior college, and you were telling me about it. You were like actually really pumped about that when it first came out.
It's a cool idea. I I really like the idea, but
Well, the thing is with these new Thunderbolts, what is there a twist? We kind of already know who these people are.
yeah, I think now it's like I got the first issue. I haven't read it yet because I'm still making my way through the omnibuses. But the Thunderbolt, the Thunderbolts now I think is almost like Suicide Squad. It's just basically
it's
to
their
have a Suicide Squad
Okay.
alternative is what it's basically
Yeah.
to have, you know.
Led
Except
by
you don't
Yuen
like
from Seinfeld. Okay.
yeah. No shit. But
Well, going back to that Stephen Yuen casting, I mean, I like the guy, but I never thought he was good for him. And so the rumor I heard today, and it's like a rumor, it's like what people want. It probably wouldn't happen, but they were saying they would like to see Alan Ritchson as Sentry, the Reacher guy.
Really? I was gonna say, isn't that the guy who played like
Aquaman in Smallville?
Aquaman?
Yes.
There you go, Aquaman. Yeah.
And Hawk. And
Yeah. You know what? That is he's a big enough guy. I mean, he just in his hair looks like he could grow a long mane. It would just take a while.
Just put a wig on there.
Which Ninja Turtle was he? He was
Raphael. He was Raphael.
He was Raphael. That's right.
The newer
dude. Did he like super bulk up after that? You're talking about the Out of the Shadows movies or whatever?
Yeah.
Or Into the Shadows? Okay, because I saw an interview with I think it's the same guy he was talking about how the movie he just got treated like shit.
Yeah.
During that movie.
That would be him. Yeah.
And he I remember thinking like, man, that guy's pretty skinny, like lanky. And now you see him in Reacher and you're like, holy shit. That guy is either on steroids or
he was in
big
Titans time. And he was huge in that. But he had to be pretty big because he was Aquaman back in the day, and on that Blue Mountain State show, he was a football player.
And so in Fast X, did he have any screen time with Cena? I forget if he if he did, because that'd be really interesting.
Cena had his own little storyline with
the goofification of Cena. Like, I'm super serious bad guy in Fast 9, but now I'm funny characters. That's what
goofy uncle,
in the Fast movies.
Funny uncle.
That's what happens in the Fast movies. But
I feel like that's just what they do to John Cena in general. They go, you know what, you're going to be a serious character, and then you know what, John Cena, you're funny. We're going to let you be funny. And that's just kind of how it goes for anything.
The thing about Cena and Richson, whatever his name is, Reacher, as cool as they are not getting any younger. So let's kind of
they are both,
get on it.
Yeah.
Do whatever it is you're gonna do now, man, because it's
get on it.
Yeah.
But anyways, and the other rumor, this is a twofer. This is a twofer here. Colman Domingo might be Kang.
Oh, okay.
We don't know. Now this flies in the face of the people saying that the MCU is taking an about face on the whole Kang thing and going and saying we're going to do Doctor Doom. So maybe this is to save money. Maybe you just recast to save money. It is a multiverse character after all. You can just change him up and say, well, this is the multiverse version of this character.
Yeah.
Who knows? But Bodz, you know this guy. What do you have?
Yeah, no, he's been in the whole duration of Fear the Walking Dead. And recently he was the Candyman in the new Candyman movie. He's got a good voice.
Oh, that's where I've seen that guy's face. Oh, okay. So, but he's no Tony Todd though, right? He doesn't have that. Tony Todd has an actually really good voice.
He's a legend.
And Keith David. No. Yeah, Keith David.
But he did. But for like a newer actor, I think he does have a really good voice for stuff like that.
This kind of reminds me of in the Matrix when the Oracle died. And the Oracle could look like anybody, and this was like another like old grandma lady. And I'm like, well,
that is a good way to. Yeah, that is the way to think about it. Now, Bodz, does he choke his women or beat the shit out of them in any way? Because
and I don't think so. I don't believe so. But
that's gonna be like the new like metric of like because now you go, well, that guy looks like that guy. They're he's he likes kids a little too much, or he he chokes his women, or whatever. That's going to be the other metric, because I think the things that they got to like curb in actors is like they have to say, give us your Twitter and you can't touch it until this movie is over, or also have you done anything that's going to like skeleton? Do you have any skeletons in your closet that are going to come back and
Yeah, they
bite us
really
in the
probably
ass?
have to really look into that stuff nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
They've
Got to
got
get
a
like
lot
private
riding on it.
detectives and everything. Yeah, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Like,
building a
have
whole
you-
secret
Very
wars on this guy, you know?
Like, have you choked a woman? We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Did you make a off-color joke on Twitter 9 years ago? Fired immediately.
Fired.
Fired.
Get out of here.
So, anyways, that's who they're talking might be the next Kang. All right, let's move on to the next topic. This is going to be just a real short one. Right here. Okay. So, Peter David, the co-creator of Spider-Man 2099, is going to be coming back to the book for Symbiote Spider-Man 2099. I'm a big fan of Peter David. He did Hulk, he did Spider-Man, he did tons of shit. He's a great writer. He even he even shit on Todd McFarlane whenever Todd McFarlane was writing crap over at Image. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good guy there. So I'm excited to see him come back back to a character that he helped create, especially one that's a Spider-Man that I actually like because he's semi original. It's not like he's like, well, he's black. And give him 2 extra powers so that people can know the difference. Oh, in a different costume. It's not that. So
this character though is Latino and Irish. So
yeah, but I think it's just what everybody
alley.
is.
So.
No, but it's that doesn't. The thing is like he's from a time where I'm not time. He's from a dimension where I think everybody has that like a Spanish first name. Like an Americanized or Irish last name or something like that.
Yeah,
because
kind of
if you look at, because it's
Yeah.
Nueva, he's from Nueva York. He's not from New York. So in 2099, I always think that this is like a just them trying to cover up continuity errors because they're like, oh, we created that before we had the multiverse going on. So yeah, he's from a different dimension. So he's from Nueva York. So I'm guessing like everybody has some kind of like mixed race.
So you're telling me in approximately 75 years, that's what we have to look forward to New York changing their name? That
Yeah. Also, your kids will be
happening.
named. Your great grandchildren will be to like, I don't know, Hector Bazzioni or like something like that.
Probably.
Well, they keep the Irish last name. That's all that matters.
Yeah. You're like, my name lives on. But anyways, yeah, that's coming out, and the covers look pretty good. I think people are still gonna be pissed off that Greg Land did this little thing right here because apparently it's just it's the chic thing to hate on Greg Land for some reason. I think it's because he for a while, whenever he was drawing, he used a light box and he was like just taking pornos and he was like drawing the women using, and so people hate him still to this day for that. But yeah, here's some of the covers. I don't think it's the most original. I mean, I would go a little bit farther away from his character to make it look like. I mean, you don't get character designs like you did in the old days. They're kind of like, they're all right. They're just not great. I haven't seen a character lately where I've been like, man, that's a really awesome character design. So especially like with the 2099s, every time we get a 2099, every time we get like a 2099 character, it's like, oh god, that looks fucking awful. The Punisher 2099, that was a the new one we saw where he was like a half robot.
Oh,
remember that how awful that looked? That's what I'm talking about right there. That's the kind of crap.
What was that? Was it Iron
Here,
Man?
let's see if we can
Stilt Man. Remember that character?
No, that was I think that was a Spider-Man and Daredevil villain initially.
Okay. I don't know.
Let's see. Punisher 2099. He looks awful now. I was like, oh, take Jake Gallows and just destroy him.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that? I don't understand why they have a hate on for him. Where are you, Jake?
No.
He's got like a robot jaw.
Yeah. It's like, what happened?
I'm probably gonna have to go to Google to actually get. Oh, there he is, right there. God, that's awful. It just looks awful. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. It's icky. It's icky.
Yeah.
I just think that
not cool at all.
You know,
I really I still like the original Tom Morgan design. I'm still a fan of this. I know it's flashy and stupid, but it had some character. It was different enough from the original Punisher where you're like, that's Punisher 2099 versus just another like rip off of Punisher, you know?
And what was weird is like, that time period was that it's kind of in the time where Image was coming out and like they were making new things and just like, I don't know, it still seemed original.
Yeah,
then.
well, it came out of desperation because they're like, oh my God, we have to do something because everybody fled.
Yeah.
And God, so this is Venom 2099. Weird.
So the Punisher 2099, where he had this weird, he couldn't be detected or something like that. By
Yeah. So like he would get in front of a camera, and he would get in front of a camera, and he had like this digital mask that would show up, and it just looked like a 8-bit version of the Punisher symbol.
Skull. Yeah.
And it would just show up over his face, and they would go, "Oh man, we missed him again."
And
they could just never identify him.
Is that the Mr. Terrific comes out, the Michael Holt version, and he is, I don't think any computer of any kind can detect him, and so it's pretty funny that.
Do y'all remember during the Chris Claremont run of X-Men, they had something similar where they could not
That's
do
right,
video?
they did. They couldn't show up on camera or something like that.
I don't remember what that was all about.
That's Chris Claremont being an actual like visionary there, and unlike these fucking terrible writers these days, that's kind of awesome for him to have come up with that back then. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you take time, take like 10 minutes away from being a weeb to actually come up with something cool.
I think it was a way to just keep them more of like a secret. When it's funny that they had this weird technology or magic or something, when it's like, can't Professor X just make people forget at any given time? If he just
yeah. I'm sure, like, the thing about Professor X, he never needed to roofie anybody. He just,
Yeah. he actually could walk fine. He just had his game put Bill Cosby's to shame. He really committed to his wheeling and dealing.
I could do all these things. I'm just lazy.
Yeah, I figure like you can use telekinesis to move your legs, dude. I would think.
Well, but wasn't he? He was not. He was more of like an empath. He didn't have like Jean Grey. She could levitate herself with the power of her mind. But as far as I know, yeah. He's all
levitate these nuts.
You imagine Jean Grey like having to like marionette, like move him like a puppet, like a marionette.
Like weekend at Professor X's is what it would be.
His legs would be going this way and that way. God Almighty! I wish. Oh my God, dude, that is so funny. I really wish that I was still like trying to submit stuff to Marvel because oh my God, that would be a funny ass story.
Who cares, right? It's like
that is awesome.
What are they gonna do? Reject me? Like why not?
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Where this one, I'm not into this whole CGC scene, but we're gonna talk about it because it's kind of an important topic. So you guys know what the CGC is, right? They're like a board that certifies your book as it is this quality and it's signed by so and so, or it's got this particular certificate in it that makes it worth more money, or it has like this weird variant pricing that was only available in these places, so it's just super rare and what condition that's in or whatever, right?
I knew that. I'm just glad you explained it so well.
Yeah, I'm glad for
so you go to you guys have been to Comic-Cons and you go there and you see those slabs, right? It's like those hermetically sealed comic books, and they have like a little rating at the top, and it's like between 1 to 10. And I've never seen a 10, but I think there's a possible 10. But I think most of the highest
few 6s that thought they were 10s.
Yeah,
but
or like what was it like Boogie 298 said? He said an Arkansas 10 versus an LA 9 or something like that. I can't remember, or an LA 8.
And 2 4s don't make an 8. That kind of thing.
No joke. No joke. But anyways, these slabs that most people call them, you get them back. Apparently you pay a pretty penny for these things. You send your comic over, they grade it, then they hermetically seal this thing and they send it back to you, and it comes with a serial number and all this shit, and it says this one is graded to 7.7 and it is blah blah blah. It's got this inside. They make all these little notes and stuff to let you know the paper's a little bit yellow, you know, all kinds of little things they'll talk about it. You know, if Stan Lee like sneezed on it, they'll tell you that Stan Lee's spit is in here or something like that. And you can take these to people, and people have assigned values to these things. And I mean, there's some like, oh my God, they're expensive. You'll see on here just like a 9.8 of like a Amazing Fantasy 15 is like you have to like mortgage your soul because it's just so expensive and it's so rare. Yeah, and they have censuses on these things. It's like people can track this shit. They can go, oh my God, look, there's only like 2 of these in existence that they know of, and then whenever one gets brought, you know, sent to the CGC and they see it, they're like, okay, now there's 3, and it's a really good way to keep track of how rare a book is and what conditions all the ones that are graded in. So anyways, this is kind of how I understand it, and I'm not the biggest like the authority on this, but what people were doing, or I don't know if it's people or a person, but they would take these slab books and they have one that was like a 6.5 or something like that or whatever, and they would take it out of the slab, and then they would put they'd have like a 9.8 book or whatever, and then they would take it out of the slab, or they would break the seal, and then they would stick in like a lower quality book and send it back and say, hey, I need this re-slab because the hermetic seal is now compromised. And so they would go, oh, okay. So they already had all the notes on it at CGC. So they said, oh, we're just going to re-slab this thing. So they would like seal it shut again. And then they would send it back to the guy. And now you have this lower quality book in a package that says it's this higher quality, right? And sometimes they would even call them and say even more insidious shit. Like apparently there's this thing called a Mark Jewelers edition, which is was like it was only a book that was like only marketed overseas by this guy that owned Mark Jewelers or whatever. And I guess it had like an advertisement in there. And these books, like whenever you see that on there, it says Mark, it like enormously increases the value of this book. And so this guy would say, oh, by the way, I know you've already sealed it. You guys forgot to mention that it had a Mark Jewelers in it or whatever. And they go, oh, okay. So then they would mark it. They'd say, send it back and we'll go ahead and edit that and we'll put that on there. And so now you have this like extremely rare, extremely expensive book now that is not exactly what's in there. And you now have a 9.8 book that you can go ahead and send back to CGC and say, hey, can you grade this book? It's a new book, whatever. And they'll grade it back as a 9.8, send it back to you. Now you have 2 of these damn things. Both of them could be worth crazy, crazy amounts of money. And the people that you're selling them to are taking it on faith that CGC has looked at these and gone, yeah, all this shit on here is accurate. And they can now sell it for egregious amounts of money, right? And so this is like
someone could be like, yeah, the West Coast Avengers number 26, that would be $5,000, please.
Yeah, no joke. But now they have come out with a list that tells you all the books that may have been compromised. And it's like a who's who of books right here. Amazing Fantasy 15, First Appearance Spider-Man. It's got tons. It's got Spider-Man number 1, tons of Spider-Man's 300s, 194s. It's just gobs and gobs of books. So this guy, whoever this was like hyper busy at this and just made crap tons of. Look at all the gradings on these books. 9.8s. These are like top grades for these things. I've never seen like a 10. Like I said, I think I've seen the most I've ever seen was a 9.8. I don't even think I've seen a 9.9 before. So they did this and they put out this list, and it's just crazy how much is here. This crazy what has been affected. And now you could be Joe Blow off the block who thinks that he has like a 9.8 copy of I think Hulk 340. I believe that is I believe that, or is it 181? No, it's 340. I think is the one where the Hulk is in the Wolverine, like reflecting in Wolverine's claws. I think that's that Todd McFarlane cover, I believe. And look here, like one of them is like I said, the Mark Jewelers insert. that book is probably a staggering amount of money, and somebody picked that up thinking that that's what they have, and they probably don't have it. So scary thought when this much money is at hand, because man, could you imagine, like you think, I found the Mark Jewelers version of this book and I've been wanting it my whole, for my collection, and then you spend this like crazy amount of money, thousands upon thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, you don't even know, and now you might find out that you are actually defrauded. And I can't imagine, that would like make my stomach like just ache, dude. I don't know what I would be able to do about that.
Well,
I would have to defraud somebody else to make it right.
to make it like very make it even.
Yeah.
You don't have a 181, Bodz. You didn't you say you had like a 180?
I have 180.
You have 180. So you have the true first appearance of
Yeah,
Wolverine.
The cameo appearance.
It's like the last page Wolverine shows up. He's like, "Hello, boys. I'm good at what I do. What I do is
hermetically sealed.
Yeah.
In a
Mylar bag.
In a bag and board. It's nothing. It was never in anything special.
Eaten by
even when I got it.
Was it like? Is it kind of like tattered or anything?
It's definitely even. It's definitely like the pages were already yellow when I got it and stuff. It looks like as old as it is. So I did do this thing where I sent it in and told these people it was a 9.8, and they
so it was you all along.
Yeah, if you look on there, it's probably on there. My bad.
My bad.
Well,
I didn't know. I didn't know.
The way is that you signed it, and we don't know why you were the one who signed the cover.
He said it's Stan Lee. It's like Sandlot. It's like really crappily done.
Yeah.
And then I took it to the baseball park, and we hit it over the fence, and the dog grabbed it.
The dog
and Michael Jackson went into my house to use the bathroom.
But his sister did.
There you go. But but her sister did. But yeah, this is pretty. I would be pissed because you know how I am with my money. Like Bodz and I are very stingy with real money. Bodz is also stingy with fake money too. Like if it's like Monopoly money or video game money especially.
Yeah,
he's like the Scrooge McDuck of video game money. He just will not let go of it.
Hoarding.
Like whether it's DC Universe Online, which I am a billionaire in there, or if it's like even Witcher, I'm like, you know what? I'm playing this game right now, and there's nothing else to use these florins on. But you don't need any new gear. You'll find something better. I'm not gonna buy something.
I didn't work this hard to get all these florins.
I think all these monster bounties just to waste it all on some new gear. You'll find something.
No joke. You got it. You stay strong, brother. Don't spend that money. Don't spend it on those digital hoes.
Yeah.
Don't go to the, what is it? I can't remember the name of the guy who owns like the bathhouse.
Oh, that Dijkstra.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's a real Dijkstra.
Dijkstra.
But yeah, I feel bad for anybody this happened to. If you don't know if your book is affected but is on this list, you can always go and talk to CGC themselves. They actually have a fraud email that you can email to now, and you can also go to, I believe it's just going to the front end here, putting in your code, and then I guess you can see if you're affected or not. But good luck to all those involved. I'm glad I don't collect
the
those
email address is the Nigerian Prince at GDG or something.
I love it. What was it on where the guy? Oh yeah. Damn, what's that name of the show? Flight of the Conchords, where the like Murray's like, hey, I just got an email from the Nigerian Prince, and he says if we give him this much money, he'll pay us back in this many days. And you're like, they're all, that's a scam, Murray. This is a scam. And then like the end of the episode, the Nigerian shows up and he's like,
he was there.
Thank you, boys, for your help, and he gives them all the money back.
Yeah.
Only Murray. Only Murray.
All
right, let's move on to the last topic because we only got precious time left here.
We have 45 seconds, guys.
Lightning round.
Okay, this is an easy, fast one. Mr. Mark Millar is moving his label from Millarworld from Image to Dark Horse. I actually thought that he was with Netflix because any of the books that I've bought from him recently, they have on the spine, they have Netflix. So I thought Netflix
Oh.
was publishing his stuff. I didn't
Well,
realize it was just
it
Image.
was, I guess, because that one show that was on there. I know they were going to try to build like a whole Millar like verse on Netflix.
Yeah, because he did Jupiter
Ascending. Is that right?
Jupiter Legacy.
Which
Jupiter Legacy.
I was enjoying that show. Like, I liked it all right.
I have the first of his graphic novels, and I really got it just because I like Frank Quietly's artwork.
Mhm.
But I need to read it again because it's been years. I don't really remember. I think I get it confused with The Boys because it has that kind of like ick factor,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the sex and all that. It's like,
yeah, it's
eh,
like
it's a little
realistic superhero.
yeah, I'm more of there was a time whenever I guess in the Ultimates universe where it was kind of like that for Marvel, where they
Yeah,
could kind of get away with a little bit of that shit, and that still creeps me the fuck out. So I just like that's why I used to have such a hard time with The Boys. It's just the squalor and the like it's like the hedonism and the last days of Rome's in Boys sometimes, and I'm like, ugh.
yeah.
It kind of taints comic books for me a bit. But I gotta give props. I do really like what's his name who did it, Garth Ennis. I really do like his writing. Most of the stuff I read of his, he's really good. And Mark Millar, most of the stuff I read from his is pretty good. I haven't read Wanted yet, only because
Wanted was pretty good.
I can't get past the fact that his main character looks like Eminem. That just
Yeah,
that really
he
bothers
looks like
me. The whole
it's so weird because he looks like Eminem, and I want to say it was Holly Berry was
yes, Halle
Angelina
Berry was
Jolie.
that cat,
It's like
the cat lady, whatever.
yeah. Why didn't they just get Holly Berry? I mean,
Yeah, I know she would have been in it. She would have been in it.
Yeah, she's
I
been
had-
Catwoman. So
I saw just the very beginning of that movie, so I don't know anything about it. I just know the book. The one I read that I really like of his, which
Mhm.
I think is it was just something different. It is not. I'm not saying like it was the most like it was literary greatest work of all time, but I really enjoyed it. It was his sorry, his redux of Nemesis. That was the name of the book. Had to look back. At my
oh
shelf
yeah,
later.
yeah.
And it's like if the way I would describe it is like if Batman was a bad guy, like he is super hyper rich, and he's got all gadgets and toys, but he doesn't mind using guns. He doesn't mind kidnapping people. He doesn't mind fighting the cops.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind fighting the National Guard. He doesn't mind using like his minions to like honey trap people into doing his bidding. He's just the most evil super villain, but he's cool, and it made me like him. And that was the last thing I read where I was like, yeah, I kind of like this book. And then it leads right into his next book, which is called Big Game, and apparently that's where he takes all of his properties and kind of mashes them together into like one, because they're all part of the same universe, Millarworld. But
Yeah.
this is the first time I guess they've all been in the same spot, and I'm looking forward to reading that. I have it, but like I said, I have a bookshelf full of omnis and stuff that some I haven't even taken out of the package. And my wife's all, "You're gonna read these, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, I will read them. I just got to get told." But
yeah, and I guess that's what Netflix was trying to do at the time, was do the whole Millarworld.
yeah, I think that they were kind of hedging against the fact that Marvel was not a sure thing for like ever,
Yeah.
because they eventually lost Daredevil and all that. So I'm guessing they were hedging against that. In Millar, I know he made a good amount of money off that because he hasn't had to like really live off his comic book properties alone for a while, because that was such a lucrative deal for him. But to me, it didn't seem like they did enough with it. It seemed to me like either they were scared, because of the investment, but I don't know.
I don't know. They did that Jupiter Legacy show, and then like I heard it was immediately canceled, and I was like, well, I guess that's the end of Millarworld, because they were trying to build something up.
He had the two what is it called? Kick-Ass movies.
Yeah.
That was him too. So I don't know. I liked the first one. I did not like the second one.
I like the
watched
first
the
one,
second
and
one.
I don't remember the second one. I don't know if I actually ever
I
saw
kind
it.
of just gave up on the second one mid. It's just because I think it was a little bit too had like the tone was a lot, not as fun as the first one. The first one was just like,
Yeah.
it was the first time I've ever like what, because you watch most stuff and the character's back history and you're like,
Yeah.
let's not do an origin story for the love of God. I know who Spider-Man is. I know who this person is. Like Batman. I don't need you to retell it because you want to retell it, kind of thing. And this was a time where I didn't know the character. I'd read the comics, so I did kind of know the character. But seeing it on screen, I was like, oh, I like this. This is fun, and I really enjoyed it. And seeing Hit Girl come to life was kind of cool.
Yeah, and Big Daddy was cool.
And say whatever you will about the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, but man, when they glossed over that origin story, I'm like,
that was
sold,
nice.
man.
That was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that was awesome.
Because
remember they littered it kind of throughout because he shows up in Civil War and then he shows up in another movie, which I can't remember. It was an Iron Man flick, wasn't it?
Iron Man was in the first Spider-Man movie, so there's that. But and I love in the Batman, it's like, we get it. He's already been there, done that. And this new Superman movie would learn a lot from not bothering going through the I remember going into Man of Steel thinking like, holy crap, they're spending a lot of time on Krypton, and this may be a mistake. I don't know. But
anytime it's an established character, I say you just go for it. We already know what the hell's going on and just go for it. It should be like a Doom game, where you step in and you're like, I'm immediately stepping on some demon's nuts. I'm not like going through and like redoing the bat flying through the freaking skylight and Bruce going, oh my God, I just get so worn out by that because we already know it.
What's funny is Grant Morrison has been kind of wild, but the All-Star Superman, which apparently this Superman Legacy movies, anytime you see any type of promotion or article or rumor about it, they always show that one cover of All-Star Superman. I'm like, did anybody ever actually say anything? To this day, I'm like, I don't think it's ever been officially connected in any way. It just happened to be a picture James Gunn.
That's just I think that's the picture of the artwork, artwork they like. They're like, well, we like Frank Quietly's artwork. We're just gonna throw it up there because that was an iconic story.
Didn't Gunn say that was like on his reading list of Superman?
Which is
but he better not do it though, because if he does that story, Superman dies in it, as far as I know.
Because he said he was gonna. James Gunn said he was gonna kill Superman off immediately and show everybody what's up. So I'll make them all pay.
Yeah, because did he get to what I understood was in the movies, he was doing something, he's rescuing somebody. He got too close to the sun,
too much.
And he's like a battery that got overcharged, and his cells started to die. So the whole premise of Superman, All-Star Superman, was that it was like, what does the Man of Steel do when he's impervious to everything, but he's going to die because he can't? I mean, he's just
right.
He was just, if I remember right, he was just trying kind of doing bucket list stuff and making amends. And I think he even made up with Luthor in it, if I remember right.
And
I haven't made it to the end of that. I will one day, but I just have the first first trade or whatever of it.
A couple of things I like about that story, and it's not like that's my definitive version of Superman. It's fun, but I get a little worried when I see a lot of it. I'm like, this is really fun, but it's not really the movie I want to see per se. But I will say I like that there was crazy other characters in the universe, that Superman wasn't the only extraordinary person, that he had his crazy doctor friend with a Technicolor jacket. I thought that was an interesting choice.
The guy that was he was like, oh, this is this creature that we've created that he's going to go into deep space exploration. It was like this giant blue man or whatever.
Yeah,
he's creating all these wacky things. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I like that Superman. It's just one of the many weird things going on. And I will say the All-Star Superman handled the origin of Superman probably the best way. It was one page, maybe 4 panels, just got right through it. You don't, to the point where I'm not even sure why he bothered even writing that in. But
who wrote that? I can't remember. You said it was Grant Morrison?
Yeah, it was Morrison.
Yeah, it makes sense because it does have a very, before he became trans or whatever the hell he is right now, it did have a very British feel to the whole story.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. For a second, I was like, well, holy shit, was that Millar that wrote that? Because that makes sense.
is he trans pans and automobiles? Is that what they are?
I don't know. I can't even
Trans
wade
fans and
into what he
autosexual?
said because he was like, it's just great now that I can be whatever I want to be. And I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. All of a sudden, you're like, I've been feeling this way forever. Like, no, you haven't. But
No, you haven't.
You're
You're just waning in
you're a-
popularity, and this is how you get it back. You're like, I'm
You
a
are
non-binary. I think my
you're a-
non-binary is like it's like being like the most non-committal person like ever. You know, you're like, I feel like this today. I
Imagine
like that
it's
today.
like such a transsexual, and like imagine if you or happen to be dating this person or whatever, and you ask them, "Hey, where do you want to eat?" It's like I don't even know what sexuality I am. You think I know what I want to eat tonight? Forget about it.
I can't make decisions like this.
Do I like men? Do I like women? Do I want Chinese? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, well, I'm happy for Millar. I hope it goes well for him. They say he's got like what did it say? He's got there was in the article it says 10
months to live.
No. He had more titles to bring in. I can't remember what they said. Okay, so it says Mark Millar has announced it on Twitter that he is moving Millar Comics imprint to the Image Dark Horse from Image to Dark Horse. Imprints include 20 franchises and 40 graphic novels, as well as omnibuses, and 5 new series is planned to launch in 2024. That's what I was. And so cool. God bless you, Mark Millar. If you weren't a commie as hell, I would absolutely adore you. That is the one strike I have against you, is that you're an avowed communist, and I hate that. But I have to say, if there is anybody that could help us save the comic book industry, it is most definitely you. I do, however, I would say though, if you were going to move this and you wanted to be really bold and really brave at this moment, you would put your money where your mouth is when you were talking about Eric July, and you would have moved it to Rippaverse. That way you could just bolster that that secondary market, and we would start to see the big two sweat, because we'd actually have, you know, even bigger talent coming over to Rippaverse, because he did say at one time, Eric July is doing the most exciting stuff in the comic space right now. Well, if that's true, then fucking go hit him up for that, dude. Don't just go over to the safe Dark Horse place, because it just seems hollow.
Dark Horse
But
is like
anyways,
that. It's like a weirdly safe choice, even though they aren't like the leading company, but they're around. People know who they are.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, oh well.
It's just like, it seems to me like their Hail Mary pass, they were like, come please God, come to our, because they were kind of like Dynamite for a while, where it was all just like stuff that they had licensed out. Remember, it was like Predator and all that. They were basically the license company. Well, now Dynamite is the license company. And Dark Horse, I still think, does some stuff that's like licensed, but I'm pretty sure they begged him and licked his balls till he came right in their face, and he said, all right, I guess I'll be on your team now. And they were like, thank you, Mark, we love you. So anyways, Noich, you got any more time for any more topics, or do I need to close this up?
I need to close. It's past my middle-aged bedtime.
Oh, well, okay, well, that's fair. I had 2 bonus topics, but we'll skip it. Let's go ahead and shut this down then. I'd like to thank you guys for showing up and talking to me today about all these fun little comic book stuff. And I would like to thank that our one viewer, look, I've been watching you the whole time. We got a viewer on our
is it
on
your
our little
wife?
view cam. I don't know. It could very well be my wife. However, if it is not my wife, I would like to say thank you so much from the bottom of my mutant heart. You're a mutant brother from another mother, and I would really appreciate it if you'd say something in the chat and give this video a thumbs up or a share. I'd really appreciate it. And hell, I'd like to see.
Regardless if it's to his wife or not, Ty will come on to this person, no matter what, just to be safe.
Just like I should hit on him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just slide into those DMs. You know what I mean?
Slide into the DMs, say something
what's
nice
going
to
on.
him. You're special. I want you to know, lone viewer, if you're not my wife, you're special. If you are my wife, you're still special. I love you, babe. But
like how
if
you
you're like an organic viewer that came on and you stayed for the last, you were here for like the last hour, I want to say that you are special. You are a true mutant, and we really appreciate you. And Lord, if you'd like to come back next time, we will be happy to hear you talk with us in the chat.
True mutants unite.
All right, guys.
Mhm.
We're signing off. Take it easy.
Bye.